As of July 2020, Lil Boosie Hitman appeal was denied. That kid is gonna die in prison. A 16-year-old kid, not an 18-year-old man, but a 16-year-old kid is gonna die in prison because he was a serial killer for Boosie. He killed over 5 people for Lil Boosie. His name is Marlo Mike.
They had a big, how you felt about the tattoo you had that said Boosie who next?
That was my little G, that my little G just fucked up, that was my little nigga, man. I like my little son, but
You talked to him since then?
Yeah, I talked to him. I talked to him a couple years ago, but she too deep to talk about, you know what I'm saying? She just too real, brother.
So I saw you had your court defender testify against you, right?
Nah, my co-defendant thought he was gonna testify.
So he didn't testify?
He got up there, but when he got up there, he said, nah, I ain't had nothing to do with that, we rappers.
What up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel, and once again, Charleston White breaks down and tells the story of Boosie's real killer, Marlo Mike, that started killing at the age of 14 and actually even had this tattoo on his stomach. Yo, Boosie, who's next? And Boosie also had a matching tattoo. And here is the story, the crazy story of Marlo Mike. Her brother was also stamped out by Boosie. And Marlo Mike, his young enforcer, android driller, took the job and eliminated.
Initially, he confessed and told the prosecutors, as well as the police, that Boosie paid him to kill these people. He was a kid, homie. Arrested at 16 years old for 5 murders.
Wow, I didn't know that.
This is documented. He was arrested for 5 murders at 16 years old. A stone cold serial killer for Boosie. Boosie used to talk about him in the songs. He used to say Marlo Mike is in the back itching for a body. This 16-year-old kid, but he started killing when he was 14. He started killing for Lil Boosie when he was 14 years old. Within 2 years, he had killed over 5 people. He had a tattoo on his chest that says, Boosie, who next? This is a kid.
What?
This is a kid.
I ain't know no shit like that.
This is a kid. Do a documentary on it. He had a tattoo. He killed so many people for Boosie. He got Boosie who next on his body. And he's gonna rot in prison.
That's crazy.
He's gonna rot in prison for being Boosie's killer. His mother will never be able to hug him outside of prison gates. He'll be buried in Angola. He'll never leave Angola.
That's sad.
But they want to counsel me. But they want to counsel me. And we celebrate this killer Boosie. We love him. And we know he was on trial for 5 murders. And not once have he ever apologized publicly to the victims. He came back to us like he ain't never killed no black people. But he hollering he'll spit on a white nurse. Well, spit on us, Boosie, don't kill us. When you was out there cussing them white people out on them handcuffs, talking about you a spit on these white people, well, Boosie, spit on us, don't kill us. Spit on us, Boosie. We'd much rather you spit on us than kill us. Do us like you do them white folks. Perform for free for us, Boosie. You perform for free on side of the road for them police in handcuffs.
Damn.
Do that for us, Boosie. Can you do that just one time for the people? See how I do these niggas? That's why they can't out-talk me.
Right.
My delivery is too raw for a rapper. He got to go right and find him a beat, find him a melody. I just need a subject to start talking. And I'm gonna rock the crowd.
For sure.
Just give me a subject. We can talk about puzzles, crossword puzzles. I'm gonna rock the crowd.
Right.
We can talk about tying our shoes. I'm gonna rock the crowd.
Right.
Yeah, just give me a subject to talk about. I don't need no beat. I don't need no pen and paper. I don't need no studio. I don't need no microphone. I don't need no booth. I don't need no production. Just lend me your ears. Yeah, just lend me your ears and I got you. Shout out to DJ Academics, man. Yeah, you find one dude, shout out to DJ Academic. Yeah, shout out to DJ Academic for telling it. T.I. say it look like it's backfiring. What about Duke the Jeweler? I don't give a fuck about Duke the Jeweler. Fuck Duke the Jeweler. I don't give a fuck about no Duke the Jeweler. Fuck, I didn't give a fuck about him before Boosie killed him. And he from Chicago. I don't give a fuck about no Chicago motherfucker dying. Fuck Duke the Jeweler. Don't give a fuck about Duke the Jeweler. Don't give me know who that motherfucker is. Duke the motherfucking Jeweler. Yeah, fuck Duke. And any other nigga named Duke. I'm for my people. Duke ain't my kind. Any nigga shoot dice with a $2 million worth of jewelry around, this nigga ain't my nigga. Dice shoot nigga with jewelry on ain't my kind of nigga. Breakfast. And at the same time, now I just want to remind everybody, Lil Boosie is the only person hollering about free R. Kelly. R. Kelly was a sick motherfucker. But Boosie is saying free him. Man, R. Kelly used to go up to the high schools, homie, where his old music teacher used to be. That was his fishing ground. His old high school where his music teacher used to be. He used to go over and get the girls out of there. Huh? LL Cool J got a whole song about riding by the high school.
Right. I know.
LL Cool J got a whole song, nigga, about riding by the high school, picking up that high school pussy.
Yeah.
Mace got a whole song about fucking a 15-year-old girl popping a virginity. He got a whole song detailing taking the virginity of a teenage girl. Nigga, this shit been in rap for a long time. I just come to snatch the covers off of it.
The same shit up in our veins. Shout out to Marlo Mike. Out to Marlo Mike.
Boosie, what you want to say to your fans, man? Anything?
Shout out to badass ENT, the Black Ku Klux Klan. I'm your thug, you my thug.
The grand jury has indicted Torrance Hatch, otherwise known as Lil Boosie, on first-degree murder charges. Lil Boosie was indicted in the October 21st shooting death of Terry Boyd. Boosie and a girlfriend, along with a former Dixon Institute guard and inmate, were also indicted on drug charges. Michael Louding and Adrian Pittman are also indicted on first-degree charges for Boyd's murder.
Put you in the Bentley with the brown rooms. I wish we would have never went out to that club on the road.
They judged me on Boosie Badass and not Torrance Hatch.
Still on my grind, got a lot of kids at home, gotta get it on.
For Torrance Hatch, better known to fans as Little Boosie, the music has not stopped. It's simply been faded for now.
There was graphic testimony today in the Marlo Mike Louding trial.
He is the man accused of killing Terry Boyd back in October of 2009. Louding was 16 at the time. WAFB's Jim Shannon has the latest from District Court.
How many times did you shoot him, Marlo Mike? About 3 or 4. Howard, who gave you money? Marlo Mike. Boosie. Howard, how much? Marlo Mike, $2,800.
Also, in the Lil Boosie saga, accused triggerman Marlo Mike Louding took the witness stand today. Both sides spent the day grilling Louding about a series of police interrogations recorded in the days following the 2009 shooting of Terry Boyd.
Good evening, everyone. Andre Morrow, 9 News. You're looking at live pictures outside District Courthouse in Baton Rouge, where the jury has returned a not guilty verdict in the murder trial of Torrance Hatch, Lil Boosie. A jury of 9 women and 3 men took about an hour to come to this decision, not guilty for Boosie, who is on trial accused of hiring a hitman to kill Terry Boyd back in 2009. The verdict, though, not guilty.
Family, imagine growing up in the hood. You a kid, you ain't got nothing but hop. The neighborhood dope boy put you under his wing, but because you misled, you down the path where it's no return. Oh yeah, not to mention, you only 15 years old. Yeah, by the time you turn 16, in the span of 13 months, authorities claim you behind 6 bodies. And when you do decide to speak your truth, what some say snitch, but honestly, you never made a decision as an adult. But because of threats and so-called street code, you recant your statement and serve the rest of your life behind a cage. Michael Loudon, aka Marlo Mike.
Shout out to Marlo Mike.
Born 1995, Marlo Mike, now 27 years old, had a reputation that carried him life in prison before he could legally buy cigarettes, let alone alcohol. Not to mention, he's in one of the worst prisons on earth, in death row, Angola. And oh yeah, he was the alleged hitman for Boosie, or Hit Kid. It's crazy. Dropping out of school in middle school for having a strap on the premises, not to mention having a similar photo to Boosie on his stomach with an AK. Marlo Mike had a picture of an AK on his stomach with the title, Yo Boosie, who next? Boosie have a similar tattoo with the AK, the title, Boss Man. Now, before we get into this one, remember family, I don't give you no angle, I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we're gonna jump right to it. Marlo Mike's nickname came from the warrior Marlo Stanfield, who was famously known for putting hits on people on his block and eluding the police. But all that fast living and being under the influence would soon come to an end. Marlo Mike was first accused publicly in a hit in 2008 in the demise of Terry Boyd. But before we get into that, we have to go back to 2005. Boosie became Marlo's legal guardian. With all Boosie's success, up and coming in BR, unfortunately, this was more common than we think. Marlo was Boosie's alleged hitman, but Boosie looked at Marlo as his son eventually. So before we continue to discuss Marlo, let's briefly discuss Boosie. Born Torrance Ivy Hatch, aka Boosie, was born in BR. Born on November 14, 1982, Boosie began rapping in the 1990s, eventually doing a solo career in the 2000s, releasing his solo album, The Youngest in the Camp. After leaving that record label the following year, he signed with the late great Pimp C and Trill Entertainment. They had notable signees like Webby, Boosie, and Lil Fat. Releasing his second studio album, For My Thugs, in 2002, having 6 solo albums so far and 7 collaborative projects and over 40 mixtapes. Now with all this success coming for Boosie, this where Marlo Mike come in the picture. A young kid looking up to the neighborhood hero. And as long as his mentor Boosie kept feeding him, Boosie was soon to see that Marlo was willing to do any and everything to make sure Boosie felt like he was his son. Fast forward to 2005, Marlo was only 14 years old, and he too young to really make decisions for himself. But from basically broke and not having nothing to actually being under the wing of the hottest artists coming out of BR, to not having nothing was a dream to Marlo. But the dream would start to crumble, leading to reality when Boosie would get into his own legal troubles in 2008.
The weed and a gun charge. The gun was legal in my name, but I had the weed, so it wasn't legal.
After being incarcerated for what Boosie just stated, which we later were going to discuss, Boosie would face some more serious charges with a co-defendant that go by the name of Marlo Mike. Boosie was arrested in October 2008 as he was caught by the police driving in court with controlled substance, at the time, tree, despite tree being recreational almost everywhere 10 years later. But also, they found a weapon under his seat, which was a Glock. Now, that ended up being registered to his name, as you guys just saw in the clip before, but unfortunately, he had some controlled substance, and having a permit with anything, you get automatically a transporting charge, and they take your gun license, and of course that's a felony crime. Boosie pled guilty to his third offense, which was possession of controlled substance. On September 22nd, 2009, he was sentenced to 2 years in prison. A judge that go by the name of Chip Monroe doubled his sentence on November 9th after the judge realized Boosie violated his parole while awaiting sentencing, going to more shows, picking up more bags.
Local HD News. A local rap artist is serving a 10-year prison sentence tonight.
Torrance Lil Boosie Hatch pleaded guilty to third offense marijuana possession charge and later violated his probation. Our Keitha Nelson sat down with Hatch in his Baton Rouge home during his last hours as a free man.
That's right, Donna. Now, Torrance Hatch agreed to do this interview because he wanted to let his fans know that he's staying strong, and he wants them to do that as well. Now, Hatch also wants people to know that there's a difference between the music he makes and the life he lives.
You better believe
They treat me on who they think I am. You know, they treat me on Boosie. They judge me on Boosie badass and not Torrance Hatch.
For Torrance Hatch, better known to fans as Little Boosie, the music has not stopped. It's simply been faded for now. Hatch was handed a 10-year jail sentence after pleading guilty to a third offense marijuana charge and later violating his probation. His lengthy rap sheet includes marijuana possession, weapons charges, resisting an officer, and aggravated battery.
I blame it on myself because, you know, the things I did, I wanted to do it.
This 26-year-old rap artist and father of 7, with one on the way, admits he's no angel. Hatch tends to do things his way, sometimes putting himself in sticky situations.
Some trouble easy to get in, but it's hard to get out.
Local rapper Torrance Hatch, better known as Lil Boosie, was arrested today on aggravated second-degree battery charges.
Another local rapper is in trouble with the law.
Local rapper Torrance Lil Boosie Hatch pleaded guilty this afternoon to drug and gun charges.
Get her, dude. She always beats.
Here's another look at Hatch. Not the artist, the man. We caught up with him the night before he went into prison. Hatch revealed his fears and concerns about being behind bars and away from them.
I won't be able to see my child born. Yeah, that hurt.
Dripping in diamonds, shining on the outside.
Hey, I get that, man.
For Hatch, deep down, things are dim. Raised in what some might call a dark place in South Baton Rouge, Hatch warns others about the dangers of these streets.
The school is the first thing, though. Once you stay in school and make up your mind you won't be somebody, the negative's gonna add out, and stay away from negative people. You know, God made me one of the few to ever make it out my neighborhood to be somebody positive.
Even though some people might question whether or not Hatch is a positive role model, he says there's one thing that cannot be questioned: his giving heart.
I just love putting smiles on people's faces.
Lil Boosie tends to do that through his music. Walking through his home, you could feel the adulation. Hatch surrounds himself with family and friends. Always.
So you said family makes you feel safe?
Yeah, protection.
Without his protection while behind bars, well, you can read it on his face. Lil Boosie, Torrance Hatch, is scared. On November 9th of 2009 at 9 a.m., Hatch was sentenced and sent to prison. He's expected to serve about 2 years behind bars with 5 years of probation once he gets out. Hatch failed to follow the judge's orders. He was on house arrest but chose to leave his home more than once. Hatch tells me he felt as if he had no choice. He was sued by promoters for missing his concert dates and feared that missing more shows would send him into bankruptcy. Now, Hatch is currently serving his time in the Wynn Correctional Center. And Donna, that's of course in Winfield, Louisiana.
So he was spending his last time with his kids when you were talking to him.
That's right.
Boosie was placed on house arrest, and after making last-minute shows and also doing YouTube series of his last days home surrounded by his family as he increased his grind before turning himself in. Now, as we get back to Marlo Mike, even as a juvie, Marlo Mike had an extensive rap sheet. Marlo Mike was an early addict to lean and gas. He admitted to be responsible for the demise of someone after $2,800 was offered to get the following substance we just named. On October 21st, 2009, only a month after Boosie received 2 years for possession, a guy by the name of Terry Boyd was put to rest at around 12:30 after midnight. A 9mm was fired, 6 shots in the house and through the front window, located on Vermillion Drive of East Baton Rouge. By the time police arrived, Terry had already was pronounced dead, as he was found dead, bleeding on his front couch. A neighbor told authorities that they saw 2 men running towards the tracks near the residence in Ben Hawkins, where Terry had been staying since being released from prison after doing 5 years in Winfield Correctional Facility. This was a body that Boosie was charged with and caused him to be sent up the road in death row in 2008. It was said that Boosie ordered a hit on Terry for $2K, which was a hit that allegedly Marlo Mike carried out for him.
There was graphic testimony today in the Marlo Mike Louding trial.
He is the man accused of killing Terry Boyd back in October of 2009. Louding was 16 at the time. WAFB's Jim Shannon has the latest from District Court.
A grueling 4.5-hour video confession tape from Marlo Mike was played to the jury today. In that piece of video lies the lion's share of the state's case. The video of Marlo Mike showed a young man tired of answering question after question regarding his role in the death of Terry Boyd. Finally, though, he confessed to the murder. Detective Elvin Howard: how many times did you shoot him? Marlo Mike: about 3 or 4. Howard: who gave you money? Marlo Mike: Boosie. Howard: how much? Marlo Mike: $2,800. At times you could see Marlo Mike lay his head on the interrogation table. Mike talked about his relationship with Baton Rouge rapper Little Boosie. Boosie said, "If you get them, I got money for you. Y'all catch that N-word, kill him. Stamp that N-word." Defense attorney Margaret Lagatuda's cross-examined of Detective Elvin Howard. Lagatuda: did you guys exercise a search warrant on Little Boosie's house? Howard: yes, we did. Lagatuda: did you find any guns? Howard: no guns were recovered. Lagatuda: what about his cars? Howard: yes. Lagatuda: did you recover any guns? Howard: no guns were recovered. Louding did describe on the tape in detail how he ran up to the house Terry Boyd was laying in, put a gun to the window, and shot through. He also admitted he wasn't even sure if that was Terry Louding sitting on the couch. At District Court, Jim Shannon, WAFB 9 News.
The videotapes were over a 4-day period, according to police. When asked if Louding expressed any remorse, the detective said he did not.
Some say the 2008 hit by Boosie, Mind of a Maniac, was a reference to Marlo.
Welcome to the mind of a maniac. Street nigga, street nigga.
Jason Williams, who was Boosie's attorney at the time, maintained Boosie was innocent, alleging that Marlo acted alone with the help of Michael Ghost Judson and Adrian Pittman, both who was in the music video of My Brother's Keeper by Boosie. Boosie lawyer claimed that weeks prior to Terry's demise, Ghost was robbed by Terry and for around $700. Also stating that Adrian already didn't like Terry from a long time grudge. Hours before Terry was hit up, Marlo, Michael, and Adrian discussed a letter written to Adrian from an Angola inmate, Lee Lucas, who is also the father of YouTube personality Jalea and also the baby mother of Funny Mike. The rumor was that Lee Lucas had made it abundantly clear to Boosie that prior to Terry's release from jail, he was making threats on what he was going to do to Boosie before being released. Allegedly, in response, Boosie had stated he had $25K on Terry's head. Later that night, Adrian drove Marlo and Ghost to North Stevendale Road, which is the area we talked about earlier on Vermillion Drive. Allegedly, Adrian waited in his van while allegedly Ghost and Marlo did the hit. When Marlo identified Terry, he shot through the window, hitting Terry, then ran back across the track where Adrian was waiting. All three then proceeds to go back to Boosie's house. There, Boosie gave Marlo $2,800 for his involvement, confirming Marlo and Ghost's involvement. During the trial, the state presented evidence that Marlo been in 4 other ambush-style shootings. With no DNA evidence or eyewitness to the shootings, the prosecutors based their evidence on a jail call from Marlo. Also, telephone records that traced him to Boosie recording studio before and after the demise of Terry Boyd. Shortly after Terry's demise, Boosie and Marlo went to go get the matching tattoos that we briefly talked about. One with the AK on Marlo's stomach saying, "Yo Boosie, who next?" and Boosie getting one indicating "Boss Man." They also based their evidence on 2 songs Boosie had made, 187 and Body Bag, which was recorded that same night Terry had came to his demise. The motive, according to the prosecutors, was that letter that Lee Lucas had sent out, which allegedly indicated that Terry was going to slap and jack Boosie. Boosie's lawyer argued that no such letter exists and that Terry and Boosie had a friendly relationship, and the fact that that's one of his kids' uncles and one of the brothers of his baby mothers. Marlo Mike was charged with 6 bodies, including the life of Terry, and according to authorities, this happened in a 14-month time frame. And besides Terry, one of those bodies was another rapper out of BR, Chris Jackson, aka Nussie. And ironically, This incident took place inside his home, just like Terry. On February 9th, 2009, Chris, aka Nussy, was found laid to rest inside his home. According to an audio confession by Marlo Mike, Boosie wanted Nussy stumped out. Also, Marlo told authorities in May of 2010, Ghost told Marlo Boosie wanted Nussy gone. Nussy was rapping and Boosie was too, and they had problems. But Ghost couldn't confirm this because he was no longer living at the time. Marlo also said that Ghost assisted in the demise of Nussy. Boosie was initially charged for the demise of Terry, as prosecutors claim he paid for that hit, but he wasn't charged in the demise of Nussy. All three was in the My Brother's Keepers video by Boosie. Marlo Mike blamed his confession on crooked cops, who allegedly threatened him with lethal injection, and his incarceration of his mother and stepfather. Day 3 of the trial, Marlo gets on the stand and confessed Boosie had nothing to do with it.
Good evening. We break with late news just coming out of the courthouse downtown. Deputies have arrested a man they say threatened to kill East Baton Rouge Parish District Attorney Hiller Moore.
It's tied to the ongoing murder trial of local rapper Lil Boosie. Deputies say a man used his Twitter account to send a message this weekend that said, quote, "I got a sniper rifle for Hiller Moore when he walked out of the courthouse," end quote. Deputies say they located the Twitter account, got a photo of the suspect, and found him sitting in the courtroom where the rapper's trial is going on. They charged 21-year-old Derek DeAndre Green with public intimidation and terrorizing. Security's already been tightened at the courthouse during this trial because of a previous threat against the DA, Hiller Moore. Also, in the Lil Boosie saga, accused triggerman Marlo Mike Louding took the witness stand today. Both sides spent the day grilling Louding about a series of police interrogations recorded in the days following the 2009 shooting of Terry Boyd. WAP's Tiana Williams has tonight's continuing coverage.
Well, Donna, they did show the interrogation tape during court today. In fact, there are two tapes. One was where Michael Louding says that there are 3 people that went to Terry Boyd's house and did the shooting. In the second tape, he then implicates himself, saying that he, in fact, shot Terry Boyd. But then during questioning repeatedly over and over from prosecutors, he then changed his story and said he did not kill Terry Boyd, and he says Mr. Hatch, Torrance Hatch, did not pay him to do so. In fact, what he told the courtroom during some of those tapes, he says he was told that by the DA and police that they wanted Torrance Hatch in this case, and he says this is what they told him. He says told him that Torrance Hatch was the man he wanted. He feared that Torrance would come after him for his own death as well.
And he clearly said, I had him in there for nearly 11 hours, and Ms. Cummings said, no, it was just 10. Still a long time for somebody to be sitting there not being able to use the restroom. And then he says, let's get it straight. Let's get it straight. You come a long way, dog. So clearly there was some coercion. Add to that the fact that he tells him that witnesses put you there. Nobody's going to believe you. And he said in court today that he lied about all that. He is lying to coerce this 16, 17-year-old kid into confessing a 6 homicide.
Now that sound there from defense attorney Jason Williams in the facts that came out during the day's testimony, that prior to us seeing that tape today where Louding did confess to the killings, there are 8 hours of interrogation where the record button was not pressed. There simply is no record of what happened in that 8 hours. So Mr. Williams, they're responding to that. We're also told that there was no physical evidence that placed him there, but that Louding was told that by the detective who was questioning him. So a lot of questions going back and forth, and Louding simply says he didn't do it, that being the state's star witness. So we'll see what happens in the case from here.
After a 5-day trial, Boosie gets found not guilty, but still serving his 4-year stint. Not to mention time for his baby mother bringing contraband, for him having to complete 5 years, 4 + 1. April 26, 2013, Boosie was found not guilty.
Good evening, everyone. Andre Morrow, 9 News. You're looking at live pictures outside District Courthouse in Baton Rouge, where the jury has returned a not guilty verdict in the murder trial of Torrance Hatch, Lil Boosie. A jury of 9 women and Three men took about an hour to come to this decision, not guilty, for Boosie, who is on trial accused of hiring a hitman to kill Terry Boyd back in 2009. The verdict, though, not guilty. Remember, he is already serving time right now in Angola on drug charges, an 8-year sentence there. But you're looking at pictures outside District Court in downtown Baton Rouge. There was a huge crowd outside the courtroom, and there was a large crowd outside of the courthouse also. As a matter of fact, our Tiana Williams has been there covering this. She'll have reaction, and there will be a lot of reaction from this not guilty verdict, as you can imagine. Much more coming up on 9 News at 5. But once again, the verdict for Lil Boosie, not guilty today. 1 hour to deliberate, a jury making this decision, and we will have much more on this coming up on 9 News at 10. Right now, I'll take you back, 9 News at 5 rather, I'm sorry, and we'll take you back to regular programming right now.
As for Marlo Mike, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole at the age of 16. Never seeing the daylight as a free man, as an adult family. That was the story of a boy who's serving life in prison before even becoming a man. How y'all feel about this one? Get in the comments and talk to me.